Welcome back, viewers. Today we're sharing our expert insights on the 6 best products and what you need to know before making a purchase. Make sure to find detailed information and current pricing in the description. Intel Core i9-12900K. Intel has recently unveiled its 12th generation lineup of CPUs, and they are groundbreaking, to say the least. Thus, we are including one option from the 12th Gen series from Intel right here. In the second place, we are putting yet another highly powerful option for a CPU. As this unit belongs to the 12th generation lineup from Intel, it is particularly special since it is very recent. This CPU is packed with 16 cores and 24 threads, which is something that is available with an Intel processor for the first time. However, this CPU requires an LGA 1700 socket, which is available with only the premium selection of motherboards from most manufacturers. Out of the 16 cores on this CPU, 8 are high-performance cores, whereas the other 8 are efficiency cores. This is also one of the fastest options for a gaming CPU, with up to 5.2 GHz clock speed, which can be further improved since this CPU can be overclocked. And since most Intel CPUs lack in terms of cache capacity, the Intel Core i9-12900KF makes up for it with 30 MB L3 cache capacity. Even with such great specifications, this CPU still has 125 watts TDP, which is admirable. AMD Ryzen 9-7950X3D. The AMD Ryzen 9-7950X3D is overkill for most games, but it's AMD's top CPU with a ton of extra cache bolted on top. It's a Frankenstein's monster of gaming processors, with comparable gaming performance to the 7800X3D, but with an additional 8 standard Zen 4 cores alongside it. That makes this chip less efficient than our top gaming processor, but one that can offer comparable gaming performance, while its other cores get to work on streaming or transcoding your video. This is the chip for the gamers who work from home or workers who want to game in their downtime. It's not the best straight gaming CPU, but for mixed workloads, there's nothing else like it. It has 16 cores in total, all of them full size for maximum performance, unlike the 14900K's mix of performance and efficiency cores, giving it an edge in some applications where they benefit more from per-core performance than simply a greater number of cores. You'll need DDR5 memory and a new AMD 600 series motherboard to support it. You won't need a monster cooler either. This CPU offers incredible efficiency, demanding less than half the power of the 14900K with comparable performance. It's a fantastic gaming CPU. Intel Core i9-13900K. The Intel Core i9-14900K is the company's flagship CPU for this generation, aka 14th Gen Raptor Lake Refresh. Why are we recommending the older 13900K if there's a new one? Well, that's because it's basically the same CPU. There's no generational improvement. It has the same cores, same thread count, and just a tiny bump in clock speeds. However, the 13900K is cheaper than the newer 14900K. You can check the comparison here. The Core i9-13900K has 24 cores, 8 performance and 16 efficient, and 32 threads. The Core i9-13900K is an excellent CPU for gaming and productivity. The performance cores handle heavy workloads, while the efficient cores handle lightweight tasks. Its power consumption can vary depending on the use. Regarding gaming, it's only about 3% to 4% slower on average than the Ryzen 7 7800X3D. It is totally unnoticeable while gaming. Being a flagship CPU, the Core i9-13900K is quite expensive. Not to mention, it also consumes a lot of power, reaching almost 300 W in some workloads. You will also need a really good CPU cooler, preferably a 360mm AIO CPU cooler since it can run hot. AMD Ryzen 7 5700G. The Ryzen 7 5700G is AMD's current flagship APU and is widely considered to be the world's most powerful thanks to the integrated graphics the chip comes paired with. Unlike the previous gen, this features a higher amount of cores, increased speeds, and a more efficient design. The AMD Ryzen 7 5700G comes equipped with 8 cores and 16 threads, respectively. It features impressive clock speeds of 3.8 GHz base and 4.6 GHz boost, alongside a total of 16 MB L3 cache and 4 MB L2 cache. TDP will be equivalent to its predecessor at 65W, and it brings Vega 8 integrated graphics with 8 CUs and 512 stream processors, all running at 2.0 GHz. While the 5700G is the most expensive APU from AMD to date, it is also by far the most powerful. With the current GPU climate, the 5700G can provide you with solid processing power and integrated graphics. While the integrated graphics may not be good enough for everyone, essential 1080p performance is there. Furthermore, when you finally get your hands on a dedicated GPU, you can easily slot it in with this APU for a quality overall gaming PC. AMD Ryzen 9 5900X. Following up, we have a CPU that easily overtakes the i9 10900K in nearly every aspect, the Ryzen 9 5900X. Much like the i9, this CPU will appeal more to professionals rather than gamers, or simply to those who intend on using their PC for both gaming and work. With 12 cores and 24 threads, the Ryzen 9 5900X offers some of the best multi-threaded performances you can find in a mainstream desktop CPU today. As before, the Zen 3 architecture is a major step up from the Zen 2-based Ryzen 3000 model, and it still uses the same AM4 sockets and is compatible with older chipsets. While the i9 10900K still has slight advantages due to better single-core performances, Ryzen beats it due to all of the reasons we have mentioned previously. It has more thread, the PCIe 4.0 support, makes it more future-proof and more appealing to professionals, and it's more power efficient. However, the same downside that we have mentioned when talking about the other Ryzen 5000 model still applies here. The Ryzen 9 5900X is even more expensive than the predecessor, was not only cheaper but also came with an excellent RGB lit cooler, while the overclocking performances still aren't on the same levels as Intel. So, while the Ryzen 9 5900X isn't a great pick, if you are specifically looking for a CPU for gaming, it's one of the best CPUs for those who need good multi-threaded performances for professional applications and those who intend on using PCIe 4.0 product now or in the near future. Intel Core i7 13700K. Looking for something more high-end to satisfy your gaming needs? Well, if you are building an Intel rigs, then the Core i7 13700K is the perfect CPU to satisfy your needs. We have tested the Core i7 13700K ourselves, and the processors blew us away with its sheer performance. In fact, we loved it so much that we mostly use it in our benchmark to test out other high-end components like CPU coolers and graphics cards. The Core i7 13700K packs a powerful punch in real-life tests and games. Similarly, it's also quite impressive on paper. The processors hold 16 cores, which are a combination of 8 efficient and 8 performances cores. The efficient cores have a base and boost speeds of 2.5 GHz and 4.2 GHz, respectively, and the performances cores have a base and boost speed of 3.4 GHz and a whopping 5.3 GHz, respectively. The sheer number of cores and exceptionally high clock speed make the Core i7 13700K a superb gaming CPU. With such high performances comes high temperature, and the i7 13700K is not known for its thermal efficiency. The processors have bases TDP of 125W, which ramp up all the way to 253W. Consequently, you can equip it with equally high-end CPU coolers. You can check out the guide on the best CPU cooler for Core i7 13700K to have a look over our recommendation. Overall, when it comes to high-end gaming using Intel chipsets, the Core i7-13700K is even perfect. Yes, you can even go for the Core i9-13900K as well, but that's for an extreme gamer who wants cutting-edge technology with no regard to budget or feasibility. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to hear more from us, please subscribe to our channel and also hit the bell icon to get notified of our new videos.